3 sisters I didn't know I had.
And nonstop drama.
The first time all 4 sisters are in the same room ever.
When Dad drops a bombshell.
That is an absolute higher form of insanity. Why would you do that? Today's going to be a changing day in your life. You've never had anybody working harder to bring you to the threshold of change than right now. Well, you know, there's something going on right now called DNA discoveries that are changing the face of modern-day families. More than 12 million people used an at-home DNA kit last year with often shocking results. Now, some reveal previously undisclosed lineages, long-lost siblings, or family secrets buried for decades. One woman found out her husband was actually her cousin. And yet another test left a man with new knowledge that he had a daughter. Well, DNA results have dropped shocking bombshells and unearthed family scandals. My next guest, Amanda, can certainly relate. Her at-home experiment uncovered 3 secret sisters and a different biological father than what she thought she had. She wrote to me desperately seeking to help navigate this new family tree. Take a look.
For the first 16 years of my life, my mother led me to believe this one man was my father. At 16, a DNA test was done. He was not my father. She then told me another man was my father. I believed that for the next 22 years. At 38, I ordered another DNA test. My DNA came back. It said there was someone by the name of ES who matched me as a half-sibling. Sent messages to about 40 different girls with that name. It was my half-sister, Elizabeth. I joined a Facebook group that helped me find lost family members, leading me to find my biological father, David. When I saw this picture, I knew this was my dad. And then I found out that I had 3 sisters. I went to my mother and asked her about David. She did tell me they were together one time. David moved to a different city almost immediately after I was born. Not having a dad was really hard because that's who is supposed to protect his daughter. I grew up in rough conditions, dirty homes and barely food sometimes. I always wanted a dad helping out, providing and keeping me safe. The interactions that I've had with my biological father, David, up to this point have been very inconsistent. He'll text me every day for a month, and then I won't hear from him for 3 weeks. I'm worried that David is going to be an unreliable person in my life, and that's why I need Dr. Phil.
Okay. You've not had a good run through your childhood, right?
No, sir.
This was painful for you. A lot of this was painful.
It was. When I found him, I was so happy, but I was so angry at the same time. I wanted my sisters in my life, and now that I'm almost 40, this is the first time that we're ever meeting. I'm so scared of meeting them. I wish I would have known them my whole life. Maybe things would have been different.
Because you've been robbed of that.
I have.
Because you were told for 13 years that one man was your father.
Yes, sir.
How did you find out he wasn't?
So we didn't have much food when I lived with my mom. And I just asked her, why aren't you getting child support from him? Well, in order to do that, a DNA test has to be done. So when the DNA test came back, he was my brother's dad, but not my dad.
Okay. So then she told you, well, okay, it's not him, it's this other person.
Right.
And you were allowed to believe that for 20 years.
I was.
What do you say to yourself about this? I don't matter enough for you to find out who my father is and tell me? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I almost feel like I was a material thing in order to have a relationship with a man. That's what I feel like.
Doesn't make you feel like a priority.
It doesn't. I've never felt like a priority. I feel like I was never wanted.
And so your hope now is that you know who your father is.
Right.
And you've discovered that you have 3 sisters. One you've met just briefly. The other 2 you've never met.
I've never
You're going to meet
met.
them today for the first time.
And I'm so excited.
Maybe.
Right. Right.
Because these could be bitches from hell. We always say blood is thicker than water.
Right.
But history is thicker than blood. Because relationships are based on shared experiences and history that you've all been through, either together or separately, whatever. And when you come together as adults, just because you have some shared chromosomes
Right.
doesn't mean you have a relationship. You have to be careful what you wish for.
You know, I've never looked at it like that. I've looked at it, maybe they won't like me, you know, maybe.
Well, that's possible. They might meet you and go, whoa.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah.
I mean, no,
Yeah, because, I mean, everybody that's been adopted or abandoned or whatever, they can have these fantasies that, you know, their parents and siblings are beautiful people living in Beverly Hills and have wonderful lives and lots of money, and you're going to be swept up into this glamorous lifestyle.
Right.
Really, you don't know, or they don't know about you. So there's a lot of discovery to take place. So let's get to it. Coming up, Amanda and her newly found sisters come together for the first time ever, right here on this stage. We'll be right back.
Amanda contacted me. I thought it was a scam.
I got a message from a girl named Amanda. I found out a few weeks ago that your dad is my dad.
I am going to be meeting my sisters Amanda and Jenny for the first time.
When I found out about my dad, I also found out about my 3 sisters. So here I come, 38 years later. Surprise, you have another sister. None of them knew about me. Now we have to start over. They all had a place in the family. Big sister, middle sister, little sister. All this time, Marie thought that she was the biggest sister, but now I'm actually the biggest sister. I'm really excited to be in a room with my dad and all 3 of my sisters. My biggest fear is once they meet me, not wanting to have a relationship with me. It's about to, like, rip my heart out of my chest.
Well, Amanda was shocked to hear that she had 3 sisters after receiving the results of an at-home DNA test. Now, her sisters, Marie, Elizabeth, and Jenny, knew about their father, but they say it was far from a fairy tale.
My parents got married very young. My mother told me that it was a tumultuous relationship, a volatile marriage. Our father had a temper. I believe that I was 3 years old when David left. My little sister would have been about 2. I don't know a whole lot about him or why they divorced or what the situation was at the time. David never tried to contact us after he left. I do remember him giving me a cross necklace. That's really the last memory I have of his visit.
My dad left Marie and Liz's mom for my mom. My mom and David raised me. My parents' relationship wasn't that stable. I've always known about Elizabeth and Marie. I was curious about them growing up. I was 12 when my parents got divorced. My dad is not a part of my life now.
Growing up, Elizabeth and I were a bit jealous that Jenny was Daddy's little girl, got to grow up with our father. Why did he want to keep her and be in her life and not mine and not Marie's?
About a year ago, I got a message on Facebook Messenger from a girl named Amanda. It says, "Hi, Jenny, my name is Amanda. I found out a few weeks ago that your dad is my dad. He never knew about me, and I didn't know about him. I know this is probably a shock."
And then Amanda contacted me. I thought it was a scam. I did message her back. "Who is this? What do you want?" But I was very excited to find out that I had a sister. Amanda has really brought this all together like a true big sister. I am going to be meeting my sisters Amanda and Jenny for the first time. I'm really excited to have the opportunity to be connected with the sisters that I haven't gotten to know.
I'm so excited to know about my siblings. Can't wait to hug them.
I'm feeling emotional about meeting them, but excited.
We have a lifetime of making up to do.
Okay, now, Amanda, you've met Jenny just briefly.
Yes, sir.
But
Just
you've
for a
never
lunch.
met Elizabeth and Marie.
I've never met them.
Elizabeth and Marie, come on out. Good to meet you. How are you? You guys have a seat. What's your reaction to meeting your sister?
She's beautiful. Just hugging her for the first time, it feels like I've known you all my life.
Really?
Can't wait to really get to know you.
know.
Yeah.
I could see a resemblance for sure.
How do you feel about seeing them finally?
I'm so excited. I just want to go hug him again. Hug him a little more. Maybe just squeeze in there a little bit.
There's another player here, though, that you've met briefly, but you two have not met at all.
Right, correct.
And that's Jenny.
Jenny.
So this will be the first time that all four sisters are in the same room ever in their entire lives. So come on out, Jenny.
This is real.
Let's just stay in here.
So y'all have a seat. Everybody's here. Tell me what's your reaction to meeting these two.
Like the pieces fit. I always felt close to them in a way, but to see them, it makes me happy.
Yeah. So, Elizabeth, why did you think that you were being scammed when you first were reached, when Amanda first contacted you?
I did not know Amanda existed. I got the DNA kit just to see what my pie chart was made of. I wasn't looking for anybody out there. I didn't know she existed, so I thought for sure it was a scam. So I didn't contact her for a long time. Yeah.
And Marie, you always thought you were the oldest, right?
Correct.
And so you've lost that job.
Yep. You can have it.
Yeah. You all now know that you have the same biological father. How do you feel about him?
We've had to learn to live our lives not worrying about his part in it. So it's going to be a process to teach ourselves to really dig deep and see how we feel and what he wants from us now.
What goes through your mind when you find out, wow, I have 3 sisters I didn't know I had? Because, I mean, I have 3 sisters.
Right.
And I know all about them. I've tried to think about what it would be if I discovered later in life that I had 3 sisters that I didn't know about. It's hard to wrap your head around.
It's hard to explain because, like you said, you can't wrap your head around it because you've always had your sisters. So to know that you didn't have it, you always feel like something's missing.
Yeah, well, here are pictures of all of you as children. This is Amanda here. How old are you there?
Oh, maybe, I don't know, 3?
Yeah.
Wasn't that cute, though?
Yeah.
It was really cute.
And then there's Marie and Liz in the middle because you two were together. And here's Jenny with a bow in her hair.
Oh.
See, y'all missed this. You didn't play together. You didn't share with each other. You didn't get to see each other grow up. And Jenny, you were the only one who grew up with their dad, but you say he was absent most of the time, right?
Yes.
This is David's history as a father. According to Marie, your question is, why wasn't I good enough reason to stay? I think my dad was horny and stupid. He had no regards for his actions. It could be that way still. Even in adulthood, 3 daughters, abandoned. I feel very sorry for him, but I don't know why. That's kind of an odd choice. I feel sorry for him, but I don't know why.
I am a mother, and I'm not a perfect mother. And when I make even the smallest mistake, it haunts me, and I want to learn from it and grow from it. So to be his age and look back on this, I do feel bad that he is probably tormented, or I kind of hope he's tormented.
Well, Elizabeth, you said, why didn't he want us? Our dad didn't want us if he signed us over. David left Marie and I high and dry. It was easier for him to live life freely. David called me almost 9 years ago, and I thought we'd have this reunion. A week went by, and he just stopped contact. I know Amanda will get hurt. That's your fear, right?
Yes.
So you think he's going to do the same thing he's done before, and she's going to have expectations that get violated here, and she's going to wind up getting hurt.
Right.
And Jenny, you said that your dad was more absent than anything, and isn't an active part of your life now. You don't really feel like your sister's missed a lot.
I think he wants to love, but I don't know that he knows how to love and to stay around.
So this is about managing expectations, right?
Yes.
So we don't get some kind of pie in the sky anticipation that gets dashed.
Well, and when I first met our dad, I was like that. I was really hopeful that everything was going to be this, you know, great family unit, that we were going to roast marshmallows on Christmas over a fire. Like, those were the dreams I had. And then slowly, it started to be less and less and less.
Well, we've been talking about him. He's here. He is the biological father in this modern family drama. So David's going to sit with all 4 of his daughters for the first time ever on this stage right after the break.
About 8 months ago, I got a call from a girl, and she explained to me that she was my daughter. I was very surprised. I had no idea that Amanda existed. Every day I think about all 4 of my daughters. I've always wondered how they're doing. Are they happy?
I haven't seen David in about 30 years. At this point, I don't call David my dad. I definitely feel like I missed out and that there's a void from not knowing my biological father. I do feel like he did abandon us.
I think my dad is ready to make amends for mistakes he's made in the past.
I do have low expectations in reconnecting with my father. I am worried David will disappoint us again. My guard is up just because of past disappointments.
Well, Jenny, Amanda, Marie, and Elizabeth say they have a sisterly connection despite being raised in completely different environments. The common denominator for these young women is their dad, David. Take a look.
I have 4 daughters. Currently, none of them are in my life. About 8 months ago, I got a call from a girl, and she explained to me that she was my daughter. I was very surprised. I knew her mother and that we had had relations. I had no idea that Amanda existed. Her mother never told me, and she never told her who her father was. When I met her, I knew she was my child. When I was 17, I had met Marie and Beth's mother. We were just way too young and not ready for a relationship, much less parenthood. It was a rocky marriage. Then she had met somebody else. We got divorced. She got remarried. Marie and Elizabeth's mother pressured me to sign over custody to her and her new husband. And I did it at the time because I was trying to get into the Air Force, and not having dependents was one of the criteria for me to get in. I regret not staying in better contact with them. I love Marie and Beth very much. Several years after I met Jenny's mother, she got pregnant. For most of Jenny's life, I was involved. I was her father. We did everything together. She was Daddy's girl. After 18 years of marriage, got divorced when Jenny was about 12. We've grown apart since then. I haven't seen Jenny in almost 2 years. Every day I think about all 4 of my daughters. I've always wondered how they're doing. Are they happy? People ask me, why do you want to do Dr. Phil? I don't so much want to do it as it would be wrong not to do it.
Well, we've got the missing piece of this DNA puzzle, the father of these 4 ladies. So come on out, David. David, how are you?
Dr. Phil, good to meet you.
You've met and or been around, to some degree or another, all 4 of your daughters.
Yes, sir.
What'd you think when you found out about Amanda?
I could always use somebody that loves me.
Were you totally shocked? Or
Oh, yeah. I was...
You had no idea?
No, sir.
But you obviously had a relationship with her mother to some degree.
Relation. One time. I know that's all it takes, but...
How long did you know her?
She was in the same high school with me.
And she never told you that she was...
No. No, I had no idea.
With child? She never said anything?
No.
She's been jerked around a lot. At least she can be given the truth.
Yes.
You know yourself better than anybody else. What should she expect from you?
I love all of my girls. I need to find a way to connect with all of them and let them know I'm here and I love them and think about them every day.
What I'm concerned about is how everybody affects everybody, and I think the best predictor of future behavior is relevant past behavior. And we ask you, David, what kept you from being more active in your children's lives? And you said, well, you signed over custody of Elizabeth and Marie because it was required by the Air Force to have no dependents to enlist. Really?
In my case, I could not have any dependents.
Wow.
Yeah.
It wasn't my choice to be apart from Marie and Elizabeth. Elizabeth and Marie's mom moved away and cut off contact. You said, you know, it's easier to forget and move on.
Their mother had remarried and it seemed like they had I didn't want to intrude on their life.
Jenny pushed me away. Jenny asked to call ahead if I were seeing grandbabies. Wasn't about to make an appointment. So you're actually kind of a victim in all this.
I'm not trying to come across as a victim, right or wrong. It's just...
What do y'all think about what's being said?
I just remember waiting, and I understand that we never got to hear your side of the story, but it doesn't stop little girls from wondering where their dad is.
I know, baby. I love you so much. I'm sorry. I think
What's your thought?
I'm honestly here to meet my sisters. I'm not interested in a relationship. I feel like that second chance was given and blown, and I'm honestly done.
Well, you know, I asked you when you came out what you thought about her finally 13 years one way, 20 years another, and finally getting the answer. And I found your response very interesting. You said, well, I can always use somebody else to love me. It was all about you. I'll ask it again. How do you feel about the fact that after spending all of that time, 33 years living a lie, and then finally finding out the truth, how do you feel about that for her? I'll ask it again. How do you feel about the fact that after spending all of that time, 33 years living a lie, and then finally finding out the truth, how do you feel about that for her?
I'm sorry if it came across that way. It's not the way I feel in my heart. I was only saying that when she called me, because I knew nothing about it, that I wasn't suspicious or thinking she was gold digging, bless her heart if she was, but that I was open to her.
Yeah, I get that. That's still about you. I'm asking, what do you think about her?
I'm your dad, and I love you, and I'm sorry. I want to take this chance with Dr. Phil's help and guidance to just go on from here and to build a relationship, or at least a way to each other's heart.
What are you thinking as you're hearing all of this?
I love my dad. I'm listening to the words. And I know I was grown coming in to this family, and I have 3 children of my own, and I would walk through fire for them. There's nothing they could do to make me not be there. I don't care how old they are.
Well, here's what I say to all of you. You know, I wrote a book a few years ago called Life Code, and there's a section in it that I devoted to benefit of the doubt, okay? And I don't know about you guys, but I was just raised in middle America in a hellfire and brimstone Baptist church, and they taught us you're supposed to look for the good in people. To me, that is an absolute higher form of insanity to give people the benefit of the doubt. Why would you do that? You said when the phone first rang, you thought, am I being scammed here? Good question.
Right.
I mean, really good question in this day and time, because about every third time your phone rings, it is a scam. What you have to do is go into a situation with your eyes open and start gathering data until you have enough information to make an informed decision. Now, I know more about the four of you than you know about each other.
You do. You do.
Because we've done a lot of digging.
It's a bit scary.
Yeah, it should be.
A little bit.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you what I found out when we come back. All right, before we get back to today's program, I want to tell you about what we have coming up on Wednesday. It is a serious situation centered around a troubled and very violent young man. He's only 11 years old. His name is JJ. Now, his school has had to implement an entire safety plan because he threatened to kill a student. He threatened his mother's life with a steak knife. And that's not all. He's run away for days at a time and posted photos of himself on Snapchat smoking weed and holding like a .357 Magnum. And remember, he's only 11 years old. Take a look.
My son, JJ, is out of control. When JJ gets angry, it's like a dog that's backed into a corner. He's thrown his bed across the room.
Knife mark, knife mark. Those are also knife marks as well.
There's nothing that he won't destroy.
I do want to control my anger, but I can't.
Yeah, you can see this is way out of control. Mom has no idea what to do. And by the way, you did hear a dog in there, and make no mistake, I dealt with that too. That's Wednesday. You do not want to miss it. Okay, let's get back to this family.
I'm really excited to learn what similarities my sisters and I may have. The whole nurture versus nature debate rages on. The first time I talked to Amanda via text, we were sending each other pictures of our homes. There were so many similarities that blew my mind. We both had cupcake liners that were red with white polka dots. Just a random little detail that endeared me to her.
I found that music is a wonderful outlet for all of us, and that's something our dad enjoys as well.
When Jenny and I had lunch together, we thought it was hilarious that we both ordered the same thing off the menu.
I'm excited to see if we look alike, and our kids too, see if they look alike. They're cousins, so it's exciting.
Well, Jenny, Amanda, Marie, and Elizabeth say they're all interested in maintaining a sisterly connection that goes deeper than DNA, because I've said, as adults, when you meet, it doesn't matter if you're twins, you're going to build a relationship based on the effort that you put in. You four women have, despite some hiccups in your family history, are kind of statistical anomalies, because the four of you have done an amazing job in your lives of being very healthy and functional and family-oriented. You're meeting these three, and I can tell you, based on what I know, you would be blessed to have any of these three women active in your life. And I can tell you three would be blessed to have this woman in your life. You're all in healthy relationships. You're all functional, contributing members of society, and you've done well. David, you have a bit more of a spotty history, but I have to say, there's certainly been nothing there that is horrific or that would tell me that these women should be afraid of you as a criminal or a felon or someone that you should run from. That's just simply not true. But it's all about managing your expectations. The four of you can certainly be a support system for one another and can have a wonderful time teaching each other about things that you've missed in each other's lives and filling in some blanks that have probably left some real empty holes in your lives. And then what do you do with old dad here? I'm going to tell you what I think you should do right after the break. Now, I believe that I'm all about the unification of family. The biggest plus that I put in David's column is he's here. He's here today. He didn't have to be here. You got to give him credit for that. And I think that he also has indicated a willingness to work going forward to try and create an adult parent-child relationship with anybody that wants to work on that. And here's what you do, in my opinion. You take this a step at a time. And what I mean by that in a real-world sense is, you know, have lunch with your dad. You want to get to know each other a step at a time and see if there are things that you can learn and resolve. And I say to the four of you, you have a real hunger to get to know each other, and that's great, and I say pursue that. Respect that each other have lives that have been put together without y'all in it, and so it's going to be a change if you get there, and maybe you can get together at the holidays, maybe you can pick a time when, because you're all kind of scattered, and you come together and spend time, and I would recommend you do that in short bursts to begin with as well. David, I really hope that you recognize this as an opportunity to mend some fences and prioritize some things that are important.
I do. To have a starting place is all I ask.
I wrote another book called Relationship Rescue, and it was written for married couples, but it will tell you some things to ask about each other, and you'll close a lot of information gaps in a short period of time. And so I'm going to give you all copies of that so you can get it and learn on each other. Coming up, have you ever looked around at others and felt not normal, or questioned really what normal even is? Well, we'll meet a young woman asking that exact question right after the break. My guest, Anne-Marie, is a 22-year-old woman that graduated from the University of Central Missouri studying journalism, and she also happens to have Down syndrome. Her journey of self-discovery was the subject of a powerful documentary titled Normie. Take a look.
Seeing who I am and that I have Down syndrome, and I hate every time I say it. How to spell composition?
I don't understand. I would love nothing more than you to have what you want. You know, you're an adult now.
That's my greatest fear with Palmer, that she will desire to be a mom. That might not be what's best for her.
Do you know that I'm fighting aloneness?
Yes.
I hate being alone. Why is that? Give Palmer time to process things.
You can hold Palmer whenever you want.
It doesn't matter what people say about you. You are amazing.
Please welcome Anne-Marie Kerrigan, as well as the filmmaker and the creator of Normie, Kurt Neal. Thank you guys for being here. Well, Anne-Marie, let me start with you. What made you want to participate in the movie?
A family friend of mine, Kurt Neal, he actually taught me to speak up, and doing this film can able for me to speak up.
Right. And Kurt, what inspired you to make Normie? I mean, this is a really great project.
You know, as Anne-Marie said, we've been friends for a long time. And this idea of Anne-Marie being honest about how she's lonely and that she fiercely wants to be loved and accepted for who she is. And that kind of birthed this idea of let's explore what it means to be normal, and this illusion that we're all dealing with of trying to be something to give us value. And I think Anne-Marie demonstrates that she has a value well beyond, she's very capable, but she has a value way beyond that.
What do you hope viewers will take away from watching Normie, from watching you and your journey in this film?
I hope people have the courage to speak up, because we have the courage to speak up. We can able to make a difference. And that's what I really, really want the viewers to come across, that I am just me who I am, but able to speak up.
So what's the response been to the film?
We've been really kind of shocked by it, that people talk about the authenticity of the film. Of course, Anne-Marie and her candor about opening up, being vulnerable when it relates to things of the heart, soul, and mind in a way that's, I think it draws people to look at their own life, which is what we're really after.
How has your life changed since the film has come out?
So I get to experience everything and exposing every aspect of my life. It's just very comforting knowing knowing that the truth is all out there. And it's one of the greatest journeys in my entire life.
Right. Well, you're kind of a movie star now, so I mean, people are recognizing you, and is that fun for you?
It is definitely fun.
And you handling it okay?
Definitely.
Don't be a diva on us now.
Yeah.
You got to keep your feet on the ground.
Yes.
But I'm really proud of both of you for this, and I hope that it continues to have more and more success. People know the truth when they hear it, and when you speak with the candor and heart that you do, that resonates with people, and it challenges them and inspires them to do the same thing in their own life. So you're changing lives, and not just your own. So, okay. I'd like to thank all of my guests today, and a special thanks to Kurt Neal and Anne-Marie Kerrigan. If you'd like to find out more about Normie, go to drphil.com, and we'll link to their site and social media. And before I go, I wanted to share a tweet received from Caitlin Vives. They wrote, Dr. Phil is actually short for Dr. Philosophy. Oh, monocle emoji. Well, you're welcome. So Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, and Dr. Phil. Yeah, right. I love hearing from you on social media, so keep those comments coming. We'll see you next time.